Namaste. I welcome you to my podcast, Holistic Conversations, with your host, Mamina Das. Join me in my journey, in all of our journey, because we are all unique and we are the universe. Welcome to Holistic Conversations. Hello everyone, namaste. Hope you all are doing well. And you are all trying to reset or looking forward to a reset in your life, in your day, in your thought, in any perspective that you are looking into. So today we are meeting a guest. Her name is Molly. I like her name so much. She is a licensed clinical social worker. Okay. And she's the founder of Internal Compass, the path to healing. I would like to welcome her so that we can learn more about her work and about her.
Hello. Thank you.
Namaste, Molly. Welcome to Holistic Conversations. Internal Compass. I can see that in your background.
Oh, wait, it's this one then. I'm so used to
Tell us, let us know something about you. Where
in
did it
what
all
genre, in what
begin?
area of my life.
What the story of your life? Yeah, the story of your life. Wherever you want to start, if you want to talk about internal compass and then go back, or whichever way you want to, we are all set to listen.
Well, I was born and raised in New York City. And so for me, I grew up in the city and then recently, I guess within the last 4 years, moved to New Jersey, where I was no longer working my hospital job anymore and said, hey, it's time for a change. I need to get out of the high stress job just because for me, it was not conducive to my own mental health. Um, and also, I didn't have a driver's license. So therefore, driving and commuting was not in the picture for me.
Okay.
And I have always wanted to open up my own practice. And so I, said to my husband, let's do this. You open to it, you go with it. And he was like, yes, whatever it takes. Um, and so I was working till much longer, actually, hours than the hospital job setting up my practice. But so happy I did. And so right now I am the founder, but also there's Nikki who works with me. And we work at Internal Compass. We provide psychotherapy to people in New York, New Jersey, and Florida. And nationwide, we're able to provide coaching. But we do a lot of work as it relates to inner child work. So people who really want to reassess their behaviors less as a stigmatized things that they did or shame themselves for the way that they've acted, and more seeing where the patterns are or seeing why those behaviors developed in the first place. And then also helping with trauma, grief, and loss, as well as other areas. But that is the main areas that we've worked with, as well as women and girls empowerment. That's a huge part of our practice as well.
That's amazing to know. And so we really saw how you reset your life, how you did, how you
Yes.
did transition from working in a social setting to starting your own, listening to your own inner guide, and then
Yeah.
working on what you wanted to do. So tell us the difference between when you are in a system and then when you are independent. Still
So
serving the system.
still serving the system, but less red tape. I
Yes.
think within a system, I mean, listen, there's politics in and outside of a hospital setting, right? There's different people I have to still listen to and answer to. But
Yeah.
I that I have more flexibility as far as what treatment modalities I want to use, because when people are, so my practice is completely out of network or private pay, depending on who wants what, what setup. But in order to be able, scratch what I'm saying, in order to have left the hospital, it feels so much more calming for myself, because I can, in some ways, make the rules and call the shots. So I can decide what treatment modalities are used for what person, rather than having a one size fits all approach. I think sometimes the hospitals tell you what you can and cannot do. And so I'm able to better decide what treatment modalities are used for what person. So yes, the red tape is one thing. I think also the flexibility of hours. So, like I said, when I first started, I was working till like 10 p.m. because I wanted to take everything and everybody. And so I had the flexibility of what works best with people's schedules, rather than being open only hours that worked for, the hospital. As well as I also can really help people find what therapist best suits them. And so instead of just being assigned a counselor or a therapist, you are better now suited based on what you're coming in with. I can refer you to some of my colleagues who I really appreciate, who have certain skill sets or specialties, or you can work with me and I have my own specialties and skill sets. So it doesn't feel so limiting, I guess, is the biggest takeaway.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And it's interesting to know that to be aware that not everything works for everybody, or we cannot generalize for everybody. Even though it's for a small setting, but generalization is so difficult.
Yeah,
In a
and it's,
system, in a system, I
yeah.
would say, in a system, yeah. But that really stood out because as you said, like everyone is different, so everybody uh, can be treated in a different perspective, from a different
Mhm.
perspective, with stress on their individuation, individualized, their true self, where they're coming from, and what experience they are bringing, and what is their their suffering. Everybody's suffering is different, I would say. So I just loved that. And it's amazing that how we see system set up in a um, generalized, like they cannot do for each and every person. They cannot do. They have certain limitations, or they have to adhere to certain kind of ethical principles, and that creates an opportunity.
Well, I mean, how shameful it is to feel like I'm going to be treated like every single person, right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I'm going to come in and this person is going to see who I am and really see me who I am. And also believe my story, give me the space to tell my story, rather than just being told, hey, this is the paper cutout that we're going to just use for every single person.
Yeah.
And so I think being able to really see people for who they are, and like give them the space to tell their story, and also have the skills cater to who they are, rather than some just generic, whatever the hospital tells you or whatever. I'm not saying that there's anything shameful about a hospital. I
Yeah.
think just
Yeah.
sometimes it's helpful if you really need added support, if you really need intensive treatment. Yes, I am not telling you not to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think that in private practice, it gives you the flexibility to be able to have more individualized care. And I do think the hospital is great, especially because there is,
Yeah. They can
system.
serve the mass. They can
Yes,
serve the mass. Yeah, we cannot. We have our limitations too. But
exactly.
there has to be a balance. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we are done with the science. We are done with the X-rays. We are done with the chemical. We are done with the
Mhm.
medications and everything. But we are a combination of science and art. Like, so. So that's how it provides. It helps us with a different approach, to see from a different perspective, like, okay, maybe we can do something better.
Mhm.
And it's not actually against anybody, but it is just not well collaborated in the systems. So there's always like 80-20, 60-40, 20-30-70. You know that. Uh, those are the things that happens when we are working with the mass, like numbers.
Yeah.
But we can really work. I mean, try to. We cannot do anything independently. That's another opportunity for collaboration, like you are saying.
Mhm.
We need the diagnosis, we need the treatment plan, we need everything, but above all, we need someone who can see us for who we are, so that, like, that creates an opportunity for progress, or leading a better life and taking care of ourselves. So yeah, that was amazing to know. Very straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hierarchy in the hospital, but I was fortunate that I had a fabulous supervisor and other psychiatrists that I had worked with. And I was fortunate, but I also know that, sometimes collaboration is not always there and isn't always at the fingertips of people. But I think I was very fortunate to have a great supervisor who taught me so much. And I feel like I am far beyond my years therapeutically just based on her guidance. So,
Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, tell us something about uh, you choosing this career. How did this happen?
well, so I feel like I tell this story a lot and I feel like a broken record, but I'm doing it anyway. So growing up in the city, I found that it was really hard in some of the school settings that was going to school in, that I kind of was really trying to raise the volume of my voice and finding it really difficult to do so, both because of bullying that I experienced and also another system maybe that made it difficult for me to do so. And so I felt that I really wanted to give people a space to both raise the volume of their voice using my position of like authority, but also using my position in terms of my privilege in the space, but also giving people the skills and the resources to be able to raise the volume of their voices, not necessarily doing it for them, but giving them the skills to be able to do it for themselves as well. So really, in my experience with bullying really shaped just who I wanted to be, how I wanted to show up in other people's lives. I know sometimes people don't have a great experience and it can go a completely different way. But for me, it was wanting to be a space that taught people they're not alone, their voices are heard. And so I think that was a huge part of why I became a therapist today, as well as just recognizing that not everyone has a space, not everyone's grows up in a place that they're heard or listened to. So I think the message that I continued to get in the school setting was that you're alone in this. But I think at least I was very fortunate that at home I felt like I had a voice in a lot of ways. So it gave me the encouragement to help people to do the same or to have the space to do the same.
Yeah, I mean, how interesting it is how you uh, utilize your experience, how
Mm-hmm.
to navigate, and that awareness that, uh, like, there are basically two directions,
Yeah.
you know, and picking the hard one, I would say.
Yeah. I think that there's probably many directions, right? You can stay quiet, you can raise the volume of your voice, you can just kind of try to go with the flow. There's so many different options, but I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah,
for me, I only saw two options in that moment:
yeah.
either raise the volume or do nothing. And I was not willing to do nothing. I like
Yeah, I
felt
mean,
power within me.
yeah. I mean, whatever worked, whatever worked. You have chosen whatever worked for you.
Yeah.
So, and uh, the intention behind the volume is also a message,
Mhm.
a message, like, it's not negative. It is uh, to belong,
Yeah, I
to
think the
create
whole
that space. Yeah.
just going back to the women and girls empowerment, I think that so often when women use their voice, it's seen as aggressive
Yeah.
to a lot of people, especially to the women who use it. They're like, I don't want to be aggressive, Molly. Like, duh, don't teach me skills, and now I'm aggressive. I think there is like a real distinction that needs to happen between aggressive and assertive. And so,
Yeah.
really helping people to feel like their voice is not something to be shamed or told to not use. And so, I think that's a huge part of more of it.
Yeah, definitely. Like as you said, like there has to be a distinction, differentiation of understanding the intention
Mhm.
behind the volume. So, and what it leaves us with, like the experience, the perspective, the progress, or uh, the ambition for what we are working towards. Like I want to come out of the situation. So uh, and my intention backs up. That's the foundation of my volume, so why not?
Yeah, use it.
That's right. And it is also a generalized thing that if a woman is good with her volume, they are like aggressive. But, well, if you see that, that's fine. But there's an intention behind it.
Yeah, I think that there's so much in this world that's misunderstood and just
Yeah.
like I think it's just so important to feel empowered in using that voice. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it is also cultural, I would say. It's not like uh, in a certain location or with certain community, but mostly culturally. Like in India, I'm from India. If I'm raising my voice, then I have got all eyes on me. So it's quite easy to be seen that way, but the intention uh, gets covered up, with so many opinions that you really, really need to crack through that.
Yeah,
Keep doing your work. Yeah, keep doing your work. That's it.
I mean, I work with a lot of Orthodox women, and also just many different types of people. But I'm saying specifically as it relates to culture, right? I think,
Yep.
and also religion, it really
Yes.
kind of speaks volumes to. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I've been able to, occupy different spaces and use my voice. But I also know not everyone is fortunate in the same way that I have. So really helping people, like we said, not going back to a one size fits all, but helping the raising of the volume of the voice in different systems and in different
Yeah.
ways
Yeah.
that are accepted, or also just kind of, mending it to the individual again. Yeah.
Yeah. And the message that I get from your work is like, keep going,
Yeah.
keep doing your work.
Hard though. I always say therapy is not for the faintest of hearts. I think it's so important for people to know it takes hard work and it's hard to do,
Yes.
but it's so important to do as well.
That's right. Yes. It's hard, but it's important. Okay. Uh, Now I have a question like, uh, as you are saying that you work uh, towards helping people find their inner voice. So tell us something about that experience, like how challenging or how difficult, or how would you explain like your work when you are now you have been practicing in different settings. So
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
has it been, like rigorous?
I
What
mean,
does it take? What does
yeah.
it take? Like self trust? What have people lost? Self trust? Self belief?
Self-trust, self-compassion. I think, a lot of people's experiences have shamed them into maybe either being quiet or not believing their story anymore. I think if you tell your story enough times in your head, you almost start to question your own narrative of what happened. And I think having a person who sits there in the room with you and allows you to tell your story and listen to what happened to you without, shaming you is like such a powerful experience. I've experienced things and then you play them enough times in your head and you're like, wait, but did that happen or did that happen? And I almost, not that it's not important what happened to you, but I think your experience of what happened to you and how you have internalized that messaging or whatever the message has been is almost more important because it's affecting you now. It's affecting your behaviors. It's affecting your relationships. So helping people to tell their story, yes, but also just helping them to better understand how it's shaping who they are today, I think is even more important in these moments because they start to make us question, like we said, the self, the trusting of the self, the self believing, the self kindness or compassion, and so really helping to build those different resources to be able to better sit with yourself in the room and enjoy yourself again.
Yeah, I mean, um, that awareness, like where they lost touch with themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing back those memories and talking about little things that matter to them is very, very crucial. I think big steps are, yes, we all have to take that leap, but somewhere it starts really small. Like, for example, in preference assessment, what do you like? What do you like? Like that question is like, oh my God.
It's like in an interview. They're like, "Tell me a little bit about you," and you're like, "Huh?"
Oh, yeah.
What do I like? I like ice. I'm sorry. I'm like so used to everything being on this side for work. So, iced coffee is my the biggest thing that I like. No, I think for myself, I really try. I'm trying to reconnect to my passions. I think I've lost them along the way. I haven't had the time, the energy. So I'm really trying to reconnect. So what do I like? I like boxing a lot. Boxing
Oh,
is
wow.
something that I do. Prior to my dad who passed in January, I was going every day except for Sundays because they're closed on Sunday. So for me, like, I mean, I feel like I can reconnect to myself. I feel so empowered. I feel so confident. Like it gives me such a great feeling to do it. So,
Whom do you punch, by the way?
well, no one. When I was a kid, I did competitively, but then when I was body slammed, of course, the mindset of a child was like, "I'll show you. I'll never do it again because you didn't call it out." Instead of being like, "I am going to show you, and I'm going to do it harder." So now I do it in like a fun, like
Yeah.
exercise way. We like hit the bags, and then we hit with the instructor on the mitts, and I just for me, like it makes me feel so good after I've
Is that
had.
a good release for you?
Yes,
Yeah.
I really try to be intentional with my time now. Really making sure I carve out that at least an hour for me to be able to
Wow.
do that, because I just enjoy that so much. So maybe more so love than like,
Yeah.
and I feel like the things I do, I love. I think there are things that. I think it's important to find things you also like because my mom always
Yeah,
said
yeah.
you should have at least, what was it, 7 hobbies? And I'm like, oh, I'm lucky if I'm reaching 4 here. So I think the reason being to find some things you like is so you can fill some time when you're not
Yeah.
able to. For me, I'm a very physical, hobby oriented person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So something I admire about my husband is his ability to play video games because it's a stationary hobby. And so when
Yeah.
he's home, he has something. For me, I
Yeah.
have to leave the house to do more of my hobbies, right? Like
Yeah.
pottery studio. I don't have a pottery studio in my basement. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back to some of my bracelet making as well.
Wow, that's amazing. And this was a very good um sharing, I will say. Like, Molly shared Like she's still looking for things that she likes. So it's a journey. It's not like, yay, I found something and I'm done. Well, keep going with that question. That can help you. Uh, I mean, to know more about yourself. I mean, you never there's no stop. Like, I don't know myself enough. I don't know, new things are coming up. I try this, I try that, like I like it now. So it keeps adding to your life. It is never a down dipping graph, or like it's not a decline, but it's always adding up to your life. I see the smile in her face when she was talking about her
Oh no.
uh,
You're like, that's the biggest smile I've seen all time. No.
so you see, like, we depend so much on others for that cause to smile, but then that is also okay, and this is also okay, like to be happy for yourself for what you are doing. That is a great message for today. Like, I just keep looking at her smiling face and the energy she was sharing when she was like, I go boxing, I have to go outside. So, yeah, she knows herself, and that helps us keep herself regulated.
I mean, I think
And
that, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, please go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think what also helps you find what you like is figuring out what you don't like. And so
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that being able to cross things off the list helps you
Yeah,
sometimes add things onto your list of what you
yeah.
actually want to be doing.
Exactly, yes. And that question is really a good one to keep with yourself for every day throughout your life. That one question you shouldn't let go. Tell us something about your clients' experiences when they are actually progressing towards knowing themselves, working on themselves, and sharing their feelings with you. Like, hey, Molly, I did this today and I'm feeling good about it. So, share something about that.
Well, I will say I've become a little bit more in touch with my feelings after having my daughter. So I feel
Okay.
like clients have shared this year more because my daughter just turned a year in April. And I feel like clients now share with me, and I almost feel like emotion, like I feel like I'm tearing up. I mean, I always was very proud of them, but now it feels like just in a different way. So I think what's really exciting is when clients text you and they say, Molly, you'll be so proud of me. I did X, Y, and Z, not because they have to do it for me, but because in some ways it's my like sign to me that they're proud of themselves. It's just like so exciting to hear clients share where they feel confident, they've set a boundary with a parent, or they set a boundary in a relationship, or they have, really found excitement in, figuring out what is so hard. Like there was something that they were working on in therapy, and they're like, wow, I had an aha moment, or I had a moment where like things were easier, where they used to be so much harder. To see, progress, no matter how big, no matter
Yeah.
small, like for a person, like it's not minimizing your experience. And I think sometimes people are like, oh, that was something so small. No, that was so big for you, right? Going back to the individual experience, like helping
Yeah, yeah.
people to see like strength in their abilities and what they're doing and achieving. So I
That's
really
right.
like, I feel, again, you don't have to have this big ha moment, but I
Yeah.
think it's just really nice when clients share with you where things are easier than when they used to be harder, or just being able to trust themselves or hear their internal dialogue, and it's not berating them anymore. And instead, it's compassionate, it's kind to themselves. Like those are the times where I'm like, oh, I'm doing something right, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you said, like, to realize that this moment is a aha moment, it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
Those who have lost touch with themselves, it takes time for them to realize that this is my aha moment. I mean, that realization or that trust that, yes, I finally like this. Yes, I can do it. That building consistency and faith, I would say. Not faith in a sense of including religion, but faith in a bigger way, like it's unfolding, trust, like, yes, good things can happen to me, for me, those kind of things.
I feel like I always hated trust falls as a kid. I always got dropped. I was always partnered with the kid who could not catch you in the trust fall. You know what a trust
Okay.
fall is? Where you like
No,
lean
I don't.
back.
I don't.
Okay. So what it is where the person is standing and there's a person behind them and they're supposed to catch them. You're supposed to
Okay.
like be able to fall backwards and the person behind you is supposed to catch you.
Okay.
I was always partnered with the kid. I don't know if they were not able to catch me, if they were distracted. I don't know what it was. But I always fell every time during the trust fall. But I use that metaphor to say, I want you to feel comfortable falling into my arms and realizing it's safe enough to fall and you'll be caught. You won't be dropped.
Okay.
I think it also a huge metaphor for me is the kid who goes into the playground and wanders on their own, is playing on activities, but then you see them like look back to make sure mom, dad, babysitter, nanny, grandparents, whomever is with them is still there to watch them,
Yeah.
right? They're like, I'm still safe, right? You're still there. Like
Yeah.
that's the metaphor that I feel like is in therapy. I want you to be able to go explore that playground, know it's safe enough to do so, and know that I will still be here to watch you, make sure you're okay, and okay enough, right? Because I do think, right, my daughter goes out, she scrapes her knee, she goes out, she tumbles, and she's going to make a great, baseball player because she'll fall and she'll go safe. That's what I always say to her whenever she falls. Because, I think that it's being able to do things and still try them and to know that it can be scary at times, but there's someone there who will be there regardless, not judge you, not shame you for your
Yeah.
trying, but be able to say, hey, what do you want to do differently next time? What
Yeah.
happened this time that maybe we want to change? Or so that's my biggest metaphor for therapy these days is the kid
Yeah.
who
That's
looks back
amazing.
to make sure you're there in the playground.
That's amazing. That feels um, like a, like a, what would I say, foundational bed that you will fall, but you will still be comfortable. There's
Mhm.
something which is holding you still. So it's not a hollow thing, but you will always have some foundation that is going to hold you. So that's amazing. That creates safety. The moment I heard about your metaphor, I mean, knowingly or unknowingly, the first thing that crossed my mind was safe. I'm safe.
Yeah.
I'm safe. So I might get a little hurt, but I'm safe. I can
Mhm.
breathe, and I'm still alive. So I have got opportunity.
And it's not to invalidate you that when you fall, sometimes it hurts, right? Like it's just
Yes.
saying that sometimes we can have both occupy the space, growth, change, and also some discomfort.
Yeah. Yeah. Some discomfort for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Molly. I love talking about all these things and listening to
We come
you.
back. I feel like we're still getting comfortable with this whole podcast thing. I feel like in the beginning, I'm a little rusty, I'm a little rambly, and I have a lot of blinkies that go on. I'm like, but towards the middle, I start to get confident. Then this is me practicing what I preach. That things are uncomfortable,
Yeah.
talking about myself, talking about these things are uncomfortable, but there's growth with it, right? Like I start to
Yeah.
get better towards the end, and I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
hope he cuts every single part up until this point.
Yeah, it's comfortable because we are ourselves. We can share our story. So that totally occupies all the space, and the worry and everything is gone. So that is the mystical power, I would say, when you share your story. You are completely with yourself. Nothing can touch you. If it's there, then it's gone. Like Molly explained, like she was like, but then everything falls into place.
This is the last couple of years I've been trying to practice what I preach. So even though this is hard for me, trying to do something outside of my comfort zone.
Yes, that's a big one. That's a big one. Trying something new. Yes.
Yeah.
Something unfamiliar. Okay. What should I ask more? I'm just thinking, like, uh, do you at times feel like your work gets really hard? You are not able to navigate, you are not able to take care of yourself? Or what do you do during those times? Like, you said, like, you were in the hospital, it was overstimulated, and some things that you didn't like you still had to do. But when you are in your private practice, like, you have so many choices. Maybe you don't want to go that way, you don't want to approach this way, so you have all the freedom. But still, do you have a hump day or hump time where you think, like, how do I navigate from here?
Well, I think that the important thing is that, therapists should have consultation or supervisors. And I
Hmm.
think part of it is being able to reset with somebody else or bounce ideas off of somebody else. I think is huge for me, and constantly trying to learn. I know sometimes I have clients who are like, I'm sick of learning. It's like, I get it. I know, like, I'm sick of having to learn still sometimes, right? Not that I don't want to, but sometimes you're like, I just wish I knew so it would be easier, right? But I think that going back to like growth, right? It happens in the space that's uncomfortable that you don't know. So I'm more than also willing to tell clients when I don't know something. I think there's something important about being able to, just like with a parent, and being able to admit fault or not, doing
Yeah.
something that you wanted to or quote unquote should have. Not trying to should make should statements here, but I think being able to say, I don't know, and I can try to find the answer, right? So I have great colleagues who I feel like I can bounce ideas off of and also learn from. There's areas of specialty that are just not mine. And so being able to ask colleagues who have that specialty what they would do or what I should learn or look into or read. So I think that's a big part is being open to learning and being receptive to knowing when you don't know something. So that's one way. I think that the hospital for me, I left often feeling like I couldn't close the work door at the end of the day. And so for me, it was anxiety provoking, not being able to leave work at work. Now I work 24/7. No. They say, when you work for yourself, you work 24/7. No, but in a different way. My clients do know that I'm there to support them. I'm there if they need things. I'm happy to bounce an idea off of, in between sessions and support them, send a meme back and forth. I send a lot of iced coffee memes to some clients and other things. So, I'm playful, but I think that being open to the idea that you also need some boundaries, right? So I know that for myself, I'm really trying to reserve the time with my daughter for my daughter. She's now interested in the cell phone, so trying to stay off my phone when I'm with her is really hard to do, but is important because I do like to be really responsive to clients right away.
Hmm.
But learning to sit with it for myself, sit with my own discomfort, also teaches my clients that they can sit with discomfort. So
Yeah.
again, I'm trying to practice what I preach, and it's really hard to do so in a lot of ways, but I'm really trying to do what I have taught them. And in order for me to be able to have some credibility, I think I need to be practicing some of those things too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is so nice that you mention certain things, is to accept you not knowing something is
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
And sharing with your colleagues or your supervisor, and still open to learning, and trying trying doing hard things, like staying away from your phone, for example, and being present with your daughter. And those are everyday practice, everybody needs them. It's not only that when you are visiting a therapist, but it's your own awareness that when you need to switch off, switch on. And having a hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hard.
Yeah, yeah. Not but many as you want to. Yeah.
As many as my mom said. No, I'm kidding.
Seven, seven, right? She
I mean,
said
listen,
seven.
I hate to say this. I don't remember what the exact number was, so I might be over it. Like she might have said 10, and I
Yeah.
just started at 7, or she might have said 5, and now I'm like overly compensating here. So
No, but there's a range. There's a range,
yeah,
and it is not like you have instilled everything or you have known everything about you. You know, it you might meet your hobbies at different stages of your life. Let's keep it
yeah,
that way. Like whenever you have time, whenever you are in a reset, or whenever you are trying to do something different and you started liking it. So let's
mhm.
keep it that way. Yes.
I stopped boxing from 16 till 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Whenever I got back into it, I guess it's more than that now at this point. I feel like my gauge of time is completely off.
Wow.
But yeah, so like I reconnected to it in a later
Yeah.
stage of life. With not that I'm an old senile person here, but like just that I'm reconnecting with myself again at a
Yeah.
different stage, and my
Yeah.
interest changes, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one way we shut ourselves up by saying that this is not the age, this is not the
Mhm.
time, but as Molly is saying, like whenever that thought crosses your mind, and to act upon that thought is all it takes. It's not about your age, it's not about this and that, but are you attending to your thoughts?
Mm. It's like a scary movie. Are you attending to that?
Yes, it is. It is scary because we have lost touch. That scares us. That gap that we see. I'm not that anymore. I have changed. But there are certain things which stay with you all your life. So you have to keep looking and looking and looking.
And sometimes it helps to bounce ideas off another person, and that's another
Yes,
reason I'm here, right? Like I
that's
think
true.
part of it is you don't always have to come to therapy when something's wrong. I
Yeah,
think people have that misconception, like if my life is in like trouble, I need to come to therapy. But sometimes it's just helpful to have somebody to talk to, bounce
yeah,
ideas back and forth with. Hey, I had this idea about a business I wanted to start, or an idea I wanted to do, or a concept, and being able to bounce ideas with somebody and then come back and what did you learn this week? Okay, and now this is where I go, or so.
yeah, absolutely. And making it normal, like you were saying, like normalize talking about it. It's not like it has to be a big bang, but
Yeah.
it's like, let's talk about it. Let's listen and talk. So that was so amazing. And it was amazing talking to you. And I had a lot of fun.
Same here. Lots of laughs. Right? Humor is a important part of the work. I mean, listen,
Yes.
as you know, I remember a client said to me, please, when you're a humorist, it makes it tough for me sometimes. And I was like, oh, like I didn't like I
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was high in energy. And so I had
Yeah.
to learn within myself to also bring down the energy when
Yes.
I need to. So
Yeah.
both occupy the space is what I like to say. I think
Yeah.
there's a time and place for both. So it was nice to
Yes.
chat with you and to be curious when we needed to.
Thank you, Molly. Hopefully, we'll have you again and again. And
I love that. Now that I'm getting used to this whole thing.
okay. Good to hear. Good to hear that. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
And it was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.
much.
Namaste. Thank you.